All right, so phase 8 now, which is going to be final adjustment. So this is our internal adjustment that we talked about before, that unique part of the system. And so we're going to utilize that to get these panels running perfectly, reveals perfect. We're going to adjust some hardware for the latch and the lock to get all that done before we do final finishing.
Perfect. Where do we start?
All right. So the first thing that we're going to do is close up the entire system.
All right.
So that means closing all the panels. If that inner side jamb, so the adjustable side jamb on that side, if it's out too far, it's going to push those panels across and this door won't close.
Okay.
That's where we have adjustment.
Okay.
So we're going to close this door. And it closes pretty nice. The reveals are very similar. It's a little bit tight.
Yep.
So you can see it's a little bit sticky coming in. I'm okay with that. Because these seals are all new and fresh, they haven't sat compressed for any period of time. We'll give this a little extra snug push.
Okay.
Just to compress those. And that's a pretty nice, that's a tight seal.
Let's pretend that it was a little bit more than tight. What would you do over here on the side jamb to allow some more breathing
so you can
room?
open that panel back up. All right, so we have these 3 adjustment points in this side jamb.
Okay.
It is set to where we feel like it's best suited, but you might need to adjust it a little bit.
Now, is this an M5 like the top, or is this?
No, this is a Phillips screwdriver.
Phillips screwdriver,
Correct.
okay.
So every one rotation is about 1/16 of an inch.
Okay.
So I can adjust it in, I can push it in, make sure that
Sitting against it.
Okay.
Okay.
And
so these holes have silver adjusters in them. The other holes are where our fasteners went.
correct.
Okay. So now when we go to close up the system, we should feel like it's a little less tight than it was last time we tried.
Correct.
Okay. Nice and smooth.
All right. We've got a nice snug fit. We want the bulb seal on the back of panel number 2 to press in against that face of panel 1.
Okay.
And so that's a really nice snug fit. We want to make sure that we can pull on this, it latches correctly.
Yep.
So it's a full latch. So I feel really good about that.
Yep.
On top of that, so we have a consistent reveal. We have a 16th inch gap between the end cap and the panel number 1.
Yep.
Same up here, so our reveals are really nice and tight.
So you're talking about reveal between panels.
Correct. Yep, so the gap at the top and the gap at the bottom. Now that we have the reveal really nice between your daily door and panel number 2,
Yep.
we want to work down the system and fix any panel gaps that aren't what we call reciprocal. Like we want the reveals to be really nice. So when you close that door, we're good or we're lucky, but we have really consistent reveals here, top and bottom. And then I even come down to this side jamb and I have very consistent reveals. So every time we adjust the top adjuster, which is in between the panels, if you go up with the track, you're pulling a gap out of the bottom. And if you're coming down with the top track, you're pulling a gap out of the top.
Got it.
So if you see a top gap, you're gonna wanna come down on the adjustment. And if you see a gap at the bottom that's bigger, then you want to go up with the adjuster that's right above that seam.
Makes sense.
So I've just adjusted this track a lot to accentuate what an out of level track would look like. So up here, you're going to see that these are pretty tight between these 2 panels. And then if you look down below, there's a pretty big gap down there. All right, so I'm just going to reach up in here in the top track to my adjuster. Okay, so I've adjusted that up. Now I slide this panel back in, and now you can see the reveal is basically fixed. We're gonna close the system up, and we're gonna look along the bottom of the panels and the top of the panels to make sure that there's an even seal contact on the exterior side and on the interior side. So when we close the system up, if we get down low and we can see light through the bottom, then our panels are sitting too high. And if it looks like those seals are smashed, then that's too low. We got to lift it up. So the ultimate contact is these brush seals, just the end of them are sitting at the top of this bevel. So you can see that track, the top of the bottom track is right there. And these brush seals are just barely making contact. That's best. And then on the interior side, we want to do the same thing. So again, you want a really nice solid contact across the top. You don't want any natural light coming through. And then on the bottom, you want really good contact with that longer brush seal, and you don't really want to be able to see into that lower track.
Okay.
So we kind of looked at that far side jamb, how the panel was sitting there. We want to double check the reveal behind the daily door side jamb as well. So we checked it originally. When you're putting panels in, it could have moved or something, something could have changed. We just want to make sure. So as we open that door and we close that door, we just want to make sure that there's a consistent reveal in there. That looks good. So the last thing we want to do is we want to close the system up. You can come inside. And we want to check basically the fastening between each the flashing to this panel. And so really you kind of want to walk along the system and look vertically up and down and make sure that you can't see any light in between the panel and the side jamb or in between panels. And so you just want to make sure that you can't see any light through there. Now at this point, we feel really good about our track adjustment. We feel like everything's sitting in the right spot. And so the two adjusters that we talked about earlier, up here in the hinge piece, they're not double flanged like the other ones. Because they're a tapered screw and all your weight is here, there's a tendency for this over time, and if it's lots of operation, for this part of the track to start to drop. And so what you want to do is, you have two adjusters in here. I normally leave the one that's closest to this wheel, and I remove this fastener all the way out. It's a 40mm bolt, so it's a little bit longer. But once it comes out, I want to apply Loctite to this screw, and then I will put it back in, and that basically just stops the migration south. That's just something that's a pretty easy step to do. Again, in the future, if there's the needs for a multiple adjustment at this point, we're probably going to inspect and see if that Loctite was put in. The lower hinge, we put one additional screw in. At this point, we feel like everything's locked in. We can throw another screw into that bottom hinge.
Okay, and there's already a section in the part to put that in.
Correct, yeah, so there's two visible holes. When you have your daily door in, this is a 5-piece hinge piece, and we also have an 8-piece hinge piece. So there's always at least 2 additional holes on top of that slot.
Sliding,
Yeah, and so this is a good time to put that extra screw in just to make sure that it's locked in.
Makes sense. Is that the end of phase 8?
Phase 8 is done, panels are in, final adjustments are done. This system is running great. It's all your reveals are done. Now we're just going to put the finishing touches on.
Finishing touches.
Phase 9.
All right, let's get it done.
All right.